Hello, everybody. While we're waiting, please write your progress report in the notes that I shared in the info.
Can you hear me?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, hello.
Hey there.
Hello, hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
It's great to have you all. Thanks for coming.
And nice to be here.
Does anybody want to introduce themselves?
Yeah, I'm Brandon from Los Angeles.
I'm Quinn from Georgia, United States.
I'm Mark from Catalonia.
I'm Alberto and
Sabrina
from Berlin.
I am Link from Reykjavik, formerly from Germany, Bavaria.
I'm Christian from Eastern Europe, Romania.
So, yeah, this is an open access assembly of the Zeitgeist movement. We hold these twice a month, and the purpose of these meetings is to collect the progress reports of everybody. So if you can, that's one of the purposes. So if you can please write a few lines of what you've been working on recently in the notes. I've shared the notes in the invoice chat text. That would be fantastic. Another purpose of these assemblies is to ask each other for help, and we will do that later on in the assembly. So first, let's see if there are any items of the agenda. I don't recall any. Yes, so there are announcements. Link, whenever you want, you can start.
Yeah, so I guess the most important thing that I have to address is a very weird inconvenience that happened. So also, Alberto and Sabrina are probably familiar that recently we have been, I was basically upgrading our cloud or our website, the TZM community website, to have expanded functionality. So we can be using it not just for storing information or pads or whatnot, but really making it into like a really nice desktop, or kind of, well, not a desktop, but just like a nice work atmosphere with some nice tools for very useful for translating or creating some kind of content collaboratively that you can work on with other people in the movement, etc. And things were looking really awesome until the server that we have the website and cloud hosted on when what do you call like branded to smithereens. So there was a fire in the data center, and they lost about four out of 8 of their blocks. So what this means is that it was crazy why I was wondering, because I wanted to access the cloud to put some further documents and updates, why it wasn't working. So they had this fire going on, and fortunately earlier today they put it out, and now they're reconciling the damage that has been done to the storage center. And fortunately, we've been able to already bring back online the cloud part of our website. The bad news is that well, we didn't really lose much. We only just lost maybe a few pieces of data from the cloud, which were already stored in a backup anyway, so there was nothing to worry about that. But right now, if you might notice that we are going through some technical difficulties right now, and trying to figure out, because the layout of the cloud has changed a little bit because of just our hosting service has had to basically move us to like some different places, or I don't know what the whole story is, to be honest. But what's going on is that we're trying to basically return the website back to its former functionality. So some cool features like the Office programs or slideshows or whiteboard, that these things will work again, along with some other features. It's taking some time. Right now, Yuzo is doing that and doing some debugging at the moment while sipping a pint, as I am. And that I'm hoping that we'll be able to get things on the cloud and the community website working back to normal the way they were a few days ago as soon as possible. But in the meantime, you can log in back into the cloud. For example, Mark, just so you know, you can also go and access the data. I actually posted here in the international voice chat, so you can actually put things back into the cloud once again. And it will basically be saved, and it will be presented also on the TZN community webpage again. So that is at least working. And I'm also going to say that there's going to be some cleanup. So I'm also going to help you. So, for example, improve the coding of the website. So it's going to make some very good convenience. Again, so people that want to see the notes of previous meetings, open access meetings, they'll be able to see them like they can right now, but we're just going to improve how that's scripted. Same goes for the Zeitgeist movement in Germany, since we're in the middle of making a new webpage and etc. That we will, for example, in the future, hopefully have a a similar system, and also for any other part of the Zeitgeist movement that would also like to run a page of the community pages that they'll be able to use the cloud to interact with the cloud and etc. That they'll be able to change the stuff themselves. So this is all a part of a work. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I have no control over overheating or whatever the hell caused the fire. But yeah, that was the craziness of early this morning figuring that out. So I thought that was really important to let you all know, but everything should be going back to normal very soon.
Thank you, Link.
I would have a
Go ahead.
just to be sure, I'm trying to log into the cloud right now, Cliff, but I'm not possible. It's not possible. I just come back to the same login page when I press enter.
It could be, as of this moment, as we're speaking, because like I mentioned, that Yuzo is doing some debugging right now. So what this means is that it could possibly be that there could be some things that are not working correctly. If not, however, I'm going to double check the database to make sure that you're still in there and that you're in there as a user, because you also became one quite recently. So I will double check as we are doing this during the meeting.
Yeah, just take your time. There's no problem. I just wanted to let you know so that it's open out there what's wrong.
Thank you very much, sir. And also, Mark, so you know, I just left a link for the open assembly notes. For example, if you want to put them in maybe later after the meeting, you can just transfer them onto that document so they'll show up on the community pages.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll put that as on the to-do list.
Moral of the story: make sure that your super data storage center has good cooling units.
So it's great to see you all here. Some of you may not be familiar with how we hold these assemblies, so I'll just remind you all. Sorry for those who do know, and this is repetitive. So we have a notes to the meeting, and I've shared that in the voice chat. It's a crypt pad, and it's great to have you write your name and the attendees, and a couple lines of progress report. That's one of the important parts of these assemblies, is to collect a little bit of information of what everyone's been working on. And also, we also like to get to know each other a little more if there aren't any other items on the agenda. So while some of us are still writing our progress reports, we can also talk a little bit about ourselves. Those of you who may not know us as much or haven't been to so many assemblies, it's great to get to know you all. So it's great to hear a little bit about you if you want.
May I actually? I actually would like to have, if this person would be okay, talking a little bit about. Do you mind if I ask someone to also introduce themselves? That I think is quite new and already doing a cool job at something.
That'd be fantastic. And just before we continue in the regular meeting, the way we hold a meeting, I'd like to remind everyone that if you want to say something, it's always and you don't know how to. You feel like you don't know how to interrupt, or you don't know where to come in. You can always write your name in the int voice chat. You can say you raise your hand, or you can also do so in the meeting notes. There's a section for asking turn, and that is it's mainly just so that everyone knows how to come in without being shy. Like some of us are more shy in interrupting or finding a room to speak, and so you can always use that method.
Can you hear me? Is my microphone working well?
Yep, we hear you.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that information, and if you don't mind, I just wanted to take up the moment that this is my very first assembly. My name is Peter. Peter Kohler, from originally from Hungary, lived 9 years in the United States, now currently in Malta, working as a software developer. And for like a year now, I think I've been like following the movement for many years before. I heard a lot that there is like I sucked in so much information and perspective, developed a perspective about the current state of the world and what the Venus project is and the resource-based economy is standing for. And I've been a little shy and don't feel all prepared yet to introduce what I'm working on, but I will be updating the meeting notes on what I've been working on. It's basically what I envisioned is a blockchain based neural network of globally distributed nodes that are functioning as a resource distribution engine. So the resource-based economy could have a tool to deliver essential goods and to those who need to have to everyone basically. And the project is a lot bigger than what my technical capacity is, but I do have the vision and I know I have the what it takes to grow up to it. And I would absolutely love to get into the bu- the 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 functions and the meetings and then all the information to really be part of it, to align my vision to the vision of the movement, to make sure I'm doing the right things and all that. So I will be updating the meeting with where the project is at, where it can be looked at, and then yeah, and I would appreciate to have a conversation about it, like what direction it go to. But yes, so that would be my introduction. I'm so glad to be here. So glad to hear your voices for the first time. And no, it's just not like YouTube videos that somebody makes for the views, and not just like another catchy topic to get views. It is actually a real thing, and real change is happening. And I could not see myself not being a part of it. So yeah, that's me, and happy to be here.
Welcome.
Welcome. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
We're going to look forward to your updates. You can always also write updates during the week in the activity report section. That's always greatly appreciated as well. I too am a blockchain fan. I've been spending too much time in DeFi recently, actually.
I actually want to ask JK, are you would you be up for talking about the progress that you have done recently and introducing?
That'd be great. Isel raised her hand though, so we should let him or her speak first.
See, sorry.
Hi, obligatory mic check. Can you hear me well?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm from Mexico, and this is also my first time in an open assembly. I didn't get the first part of the talk, so I don't know. You mentioned that we can edit the document, but for example, if I want to speak of what I'm planning to do and also check if someone is interested in participating. So where should I write it?
There is a section in the crypt pad that I just shared again that is help wanted, and that's the place to write that down. And you can also tell us a little bit about it in voice as well.
All right. So should I wait until that part of the meeting is reached?
I'd be fine with you going right away. Link, what do you think?
I think it'd be good to do it sooner the better.
Well, I'm a scientist, so I'm interested in helping in the transition or helping society in the scientific front. And recently, the UNESCO published a series like a I don't know what the word is in English, but a project proposal, I think it is, that they are planning to put forward in later this year to as a proposal for changing the way science is done for the 2030 agenda. And what they're proposing and what my view is uh, that science needs to be open source, not open access, but open source. This means completely changing the paradigm of how science is being done and allow for the change in like how the economic side of science is managed right now to a more open source way. So like Peter Joseph said in his book, like one of the main ways we can help uh, advance the, to go to through that transition is to help with one of the points is open source. So yeah, my project involves in developing a model of how to do science in an open source way. That means it's not just what we have right now with Sci-Hub. It's just like they give access to the research, but research right now it's like the same it was, let's say 100 years ago. Like it's still a paper with the same format. It's just the difference is just it's in PDF format right now, and you can have some links, but it's basically the same thing. So we need to be able to modernize how science is done, like having repositories to have the raw data, because also when you look at scientific papers, what you're seeing is actually the data that's already been processed and filtered to what the scientists want to show. And if we want to be able to have a more open way, we need to be able to have access to the raw data. That means having repositories to manage all this data and having also a somewhere that these uh, things can be reported and change the paradigm of how scientists right now are being ranked, or they give like reputation points depending on how many papers you have. So we need to change that paradigm from how many papers to actual contributions to science. And this will also help solve the problem of data hoarding, because there are some research experiments that are not published until, let's say, decades after they were actually made, or some years, because there is no incentive to do this. So with an open access paradigm, we can have a give incentive to the scientists to publish the results separate from the interpretations, because right now they need to have they need to build a story to be able to sell it to the papers that are going to publish it. So if you want to be a good scientist, like a renowned scientist, you need to wait until you have a good story that will sell and give you some renown. So yeah.
This is really interesting. I have a few questions, but I'll let others speak first.
Yeah. So, sorry. What's your name? The person that just spoke,
Oscar.
Oscar. Um, hey, nice to meet you. I just want to say I am interested in the work that you're doing as far as like opening up data to from scientific papers and scientific organizations. Sorry, hold on a second.
Just a quick
Oh.
yes, so we should My idea is that we should have
Sorry.
open. Oh yeah, sorry. I was saying that instead of just opening the data, like everything should be open, the data and the discussions, because right now when we have a publication, this is usually two or three maximum peer reviewers. So after they are done reviewing that becomes fixed and no one can review it unless like you get like a public interested in one specific paper, and then they do a further review. But yeah, we should be able to, since science is dynamic, we should be able to review more than two or three times the same work. Yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know like all the ins and outs of the peer review process, just because I'm not in that space, but I do know like a bunch of the data and papers are kept behind paywalls. And back when I was researching stuff in college, I graduated last May. Um, I I ran into the problem of, there would be a certain paper in a journal that I wanted to cite, but I couldn't access it because, my university didn't have access to it because, you had to pay for it. But um, if this information was put out there for free, either by having the journal supported financially by universities or what have you, so that the public can just access it freely, um, that it could be really powerful. Like what I'm trying to do with the intelligence team and TZM is to use data from peer-reviewed sources and try to compile it all into like one dashboard, sort of, if you think about it that way, and use it to track where the zeitgeist is headed, like the global zeitgeist. Just looking at indicators of like social, environmental, economic indicators, see like if it's towards like an RB society or not. Peter's done that sort of work with his books, but I thought it would just be interesting to see how it can be done on a larger scale through like an open source framework. So that's the type of long-term work that I'm working on. But my background, as I said, I'm a graduate of the University of Georgia last May with a degree in environmental economics. So I'm more like social science focused. And, I just graduated with a bachelor's degree, so I'm not quite at the level where I can do a lot of like the back end work with researching and like programming yet. But I want to be able to get to the point where I could do like Python stuff and set up a website to where like it's a dashboard. You can view, like I said, data on the zeitgeist, like the direction it's going. But currently, I'm just using my time to help rewrite the Wikipedia page. I don't know if you've seen the Wikipedia page recently, but I successfully rewrote the headline for the TZM wiki, and now it much more represents the movement, even though it's kind of like it's quotes from journalists, so it doesn't quite hit the mark, but it's much better than what it was. So there's that. And besides rewriting the wiki page, I'm also active in political work in my state of Georgia. And sorry if I'm going over time, but I'll try to be quick. What I'm trying to do in the electoral sense is try to institute ranked choice voting, because if you're unfamiliar with the United States electoral system, it's dominated by two major parties, and it's mostly people elected with lots of money and who already have name recognition. And since people are pretty cynical about politics at this point. They'll just go ahead and vote for whoever the Republican or Democratic candidate is. So really with ranked choice voting, you would be able to rank your candidates in terms of, your first choice, second choice, third choice. And then, the outcome would be a candidate who the majority of the people can agree on, because instead of just voting for one specific candidate, it would be you'd be able to vote your conscience essentially. And so, in a sense, really what I think this is important, why it's important is because in order to get some of the bigger changes needed, like UBI, like public banking, stuff of this sort, these are really things that can only happen if you get candidates that want actual change. But in the current like winner take all plurality voting system, it's really not possible to do that at the time scale that's needed. So that's why I'm working with Better Ballot Georgia, the organization that is advocating for this statewide. Why I'm working with them right now.
I
But
think
yeah,
we
that
got.
sums up my work at this point.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yeah. So I think we have that in Maine, which is where I was born. I think we got the ranked choice voting system.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, it really makes a huge difference. I have a couple of questions for Oscar. One is, where do you want people to find you who want to help, and what do you like? What do you want people to help you with? Like, what should people expect when they come to help you with this project? What are you gonna like ask of them or hope to do with them? And the other question I have is that my parents are scientists, and they've been for their whole lives and have managed teams. And my father's still actually managing a team, and my brother's also a neuroscientist. And maybe if you want, I could ask them if they could. If you think there are any questions I could ask them that might help you, well, I'd be glad to do that.
Yeah, on your first question of how or where to help, um, the first thing um, I think we will need is that to define like a new paradigm of how things would work, because it evolves a lot, and and also to be able to show it like a working example of uh, how the things would work would help the how to explain it to, for example, to policymakers or like the heads of scientific centers, or the ones that legislate how scientists are uh, getting points for their contributions. So firstly, we need to discuss and build a way, like a model, to then be able to develop a sort of like a website, uh, like I'm imagining something like a Stack Exchange, where each user will be a scientist, and they will have like a certain reputation or points to, and dividing all the areas into sections with different tags, so that things can be uh, organized better that way. And yeah, so firstly, to discuss about it and to build a model, and also to build uh, like a prototype or an example of a proof of concept of how this would work, with some specific scientific works that we can like share to make an example of how things would work. And where I updated the correct path with my username and my tag in other social medias. And also I'll put my email.
Another place I'd recommend is that if you would put it in the help wanted place, which is also founded here in this category of the server. Even though you're not looking for help, but also offering help, offering your skills or your expertise, that would also be a good place to leave this information if you want others to contact you. And we have a user by the name of Millennial who's in a sense hierarchical, as he loves to collect people from all these different parts of specialties and put them in a nice list, which you will see very often he does. So definitely in there, I'd recommend doing it. And there's another part called DIY projects. Do it, I guess, do it something projects basically. That would be another place I'd recommend. I'll put the links down here in case you can't find them in the server.
I wanted to add something to what Quinn said.
I'm just
Okay.
wondering. I'm just wondering. Should we maybe let some other people speak before we enlarge on this, or should we keep on where we're going right now?
Does anyone want to introduce themselves?
The thing is that I don't know about anyone else. They should definitely speak up and write in the chat if they would like to make sure that everyone gets a chance to speak. Because I think the subject we're on is so interesting and we're already really packed into it. But of course, maybe somebody else wants to share something, and there is something that I would like to share for someone that can't really speak for themselves right now.
Go ahead.
So I'll do that then really quickly. It's for JKUA, and what he's doing is extremely important that I would like to say. He's not able to really communicate in English very well, so I will do this for him. He showed up recently in one of our TZM Ukraine meetings, which we also have twice a month now. It's in the calendar. And so what he's doing that's really important is that he is translating the entire book, The Zeitgeist Movement of Find, which I would imagine most of you are familiar with, into Russian. Now, my brother-in-law already translated the entire book into Ukrainian, and that's been very good for us in Ukraine. And for people in that country to basically have a better grip on the technical aspects of the Zeitgeist movement and whatnot. But Russian is, maybe this statistic is not exactly accurate as I'm saying, but it's Russia has more native speakers. Or well, this fact I am sure of is that Russia or the Russian language has more native speakers than English has. English native speakers has. And it's also used by many people that are also not native to the language, basically in competition with Spanish and English and Mandarin Chinese and a few other languages. So Russian is at the very top 3 or 4, basically. So it's a really important language to have this material translated and to get more people to understand what the sense or the what the initiative of the movement is, basically. So he's doing this by himself, and he plans to have the whole thing translated in 2 weeks. He said he's at 19% complete. He just said, which is really amazing. Again, doing the same as Oleksiy is doing. So therefore, I think that we should basically, basically a really big thanks to you, because also I'd like to mention that we're having now also trying to organize a gigantic Russian speaking meeting. So kind of like an open access assembly meeting like right now, except having a Russian language one for those from other East Bloc countries. So we're gonna be trying to organize this at a time that is convenient for everyone to make it, and this would be really good to get a whole nother side of a cultural background, basically, to also engage in the same stuff we're doing. And yeah, I mean, minus some culture, some like whatever, like some cultural differences or whatever, I mean, it'll be still cool to somehow be able to work together despite those whatever language barriers or whatnot, like we already do. Yeah, and I'll just that's about it. I just want to say that that's really really amazing what JK is doing, and I think he should deserve a lot of recognition on that. So that's why I wanted to just announce that for him quickly. And I'll just say, excuse me, just give me a few seconds. So he says, коротше, я казав всі людей, що ти робиш, просто молодець, но хтось вперед, і хочемо також може тобі допомагати, якщо тобі потрібна якась більше допомога на це. Але не знаю, то просто якщо ти сам зробиш, то супер. Ну, але дуже дякую, спасибо большое тобі. That's all. So did anyone, if nobody wanted to like say any other like announcements or whatever, anything important to share, apparently people seem to have yeah, some additional questions for Oscar or for Quinn, but yeah, it's I don't know, does is there anything else that someone would like to share?
If I may, I think there is an idea that it would be useful to share it with you. I would like to put it in a context. Some people, maybe even some of us, I'm among those people I'm talking about. They spend a lot of time, or they used to spend a lot of times on online games. And then if you think about it, how much time, how much effort, the skills that they have, otherwise they could put it in a good use. They waste those skills, this time, even never to mention the money, buy the stupid gold and to build resources in those platforms. I'm particularly speaking here about those Alpha Wars games. Maybe some of you are familiar with. I spent, oh my god, countless hours, sleepless nights to build my units, my groups, and get them wasted in teams of similar people which are antagonized one against each other. And if you can put this in perspective, if you can work something out on our TZM website to get the people incentivized to build something that will solve a real problem in real life. I think maybe there is a solution to find punctual problems in real world and get teams of online online, not players, online problem solver to work solutions for those problems in real world. What do you think about that?
I thought about that also, and I think it's very interesting to use games to incentivize people. For me, it's the same. I try to think about stuff like that, like kind of, yeah, I have to do this work, I have to do this lecture for my lecture series that I want to do, and I should build it up like some kind of a game, like a reward in my head. Yeah, I did this first part. Oh, okay, so it's like getting, I don't know, like some experience points and stuff like that. Yeah, well, I find it very, very interesting, and maybe something for the future.
I'm for it. I mean, I'm not a real game programmer or web developer or something like that. We would need something that for implement this online. But I think it worth at least a research.
May I have a thought on that? It's if you now envision a map in front of you, like on your computer screen, like a full screen map, like Google Maps, and you see certain desires or of human beings, of certain resources, let that be a pair of shoes for a kid, of a single mother, or a hungry homeless person. And then you have people who are willing to share access resources, and with the well-known methodology of gamification that software developers use to work with human nature, to get people to enjoy clicking buttons in front of the screen. But you could actually assist connecting those resources to the ones that need it from the ones that can offer it. You get a contribution point for that, of course. And further than that, you can be the one that delivers it, which is sort of like a scavenger hunt, like geocaching or something like that. That you go to a location where the map tells you where you can access the resource, and what it takes to deliver it there, and who needs it. And of course, you get your shiny points for it. So, what's something like this? What would you think about something like this?
There's a site out there called ShareBay, and that exists already and facilitates those types of transactions where somebody has something to offer and somebody wants to go receive something, and it's just you log in, you sign up, and you can get whatever the person's offering. So that might be something to bring up to the owner of that site.
Can
just
you
as a
share the
add-on.
link in the chat, please? Share.
Yeah.
Share it. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Yo, want to also be, I mean, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, but or respond to, but we have a few people waiting in the queue. Liberate Mankind, I think, wanted to speak after me or so, perhaps let him speak then. He, her.
Hi, thank you. Are you all able to hear me okay?
Yo.
Yep.
Oh yeah, okay, good. Sorry, it was silent at my end. Yeah, so I'm just putting the link address into the chat now. This is the Money Free Party website. I've mentioned this before at the last one of these. I just want to push it again and just show you something we've been working on, and ask you for help and contributions for it. One of the points, I mean, there's many strands to it. One of the points is to create a repository of materials and information, and that I'm going to share screen just to show you. Right. There we go. So hopefully, can you see my screen?
Yeah, you have to just click on and then afterwards just watch the stream.
What? I didn't catch that. I have to click on what?
Oh no, I was explaining to the other people in case they don't see
Oh, I see.
automatically.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, on this page here, on the further information page, this is what I would like to ask the group for help with. So on the further information page, we are creating like a giant repository information. And so, I mean, you can have a look. Some of these are already populated. So this is Peter Joseph and the Zeitgeist movement, and it's just links to videos and talks and interviews and documents and so on. I don't know why this is being so slow to load. Oh, here we go. All right, so this is Peter Joseph and the Zeitgeist movement's page. Just some of it, right, and links to more. And similarly with Jacques Fresco and the Venus Project, a little bit about him, about the Venus Project, some background and history and documentaries on what money is all about. I mean, you can see these are sort of all adjacent things. It's
We're
not
seeing
directly RBE, but these are all adjacent things. Open source.
Excuse
The
me.
common system. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
We're we're seeing a screen that's not what you're talking about. We're seeing the Discord
Oh.
server.
Yes.
Ah, okay. Oh, how do I? Huh.
You can
Yeah, if you have
like
two screens, maybe just unshare and then try the other screen.
Oh,
Or
sorry, my bad, my bad, my bad. Sorry. Here we go. You should be able to see it now. My bad. I apologize. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Further information page, right? It's a further information page in the about section of the website. And so, let's just start again then. So this is Peter Joseph's bit here. Yeah, for any of these sections, if you've got anything that you want to add to any of these pages, do go and have a look. Because as I say, we want to create a really giant repository of, not just TZM and Venus Project and resource-based economics. Yes, that, and they're front and center here, but all sorts of adjacent things as well, like open source, like gifting and sharing. I mean, ShareBay is in here, for example. You've just been talking about ShareBay. I know about ShareBay. That's already on here. But other things like this, other projects that are going on that are related to this kind of milieu, I'd really like to add it to the website here. And I can create more, no problem to create more categories, right? If it doesn't fit into any of the existing categories that are on there, it's no problem for us to create new ones. So yeah, I mean, you guys between you, I would imagine, know about loads of good materials and resources and movies and video clips and documents and lectures and stuff out there. Would really like to canvass your help in populating this page. And also just a general plug for the site in general. Please do go and check it out. There's a lot of work gone into this. It's not exactly RBE, but the RBE is very much the kernel of it. And it's sort of and it brings in some of the strands from some of the other things which are on the further information page. So it's a really rounded, at least as we like to think so, it's a really rounded set of ideas and approaches and really inclusive language. And I will now stop talking because I feel I've been talking for too long. So thank you very much for listening, and really would appreciate any help you guys can offer with that.
So, thank you. That's great. What was your name again?
Eric.
Eric. Okay. So, one of the things that I noticed that happens is that people need to know like very specific tasks, and that usually helps getting them to do it. So one of the things that like the way we try to focus our help in these meetings is by dividing the help that we ask for into two different categories. So one is like help wanted, which is like asking people to join a team, and where they know where they can go to start collaborating with a certain project. And then the other kind is asking for a specific simple action. So, for instance, if you're okay with it, like a format that I could see would be compatible would be to ask all of us to go and add one thing to that section, and then you can also say that that you would like it if people add more, but keeping things simple and small helps everybody know that they can participate and do something and feel like they've done their part. Do you think that's okay if we ask if in the next call to action I ask everybody to add one thing to it and to check it out as well?
I don't know. I think specifics are good for some people, but for other people, it can be a little bit restricting. So that's just my 2 cents, though.
Well, people can always do more. That's why you can add. Once people know about something, if they like a project,
There you go.
they always they can go and do more.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have been working on a project that is similar to that sort of. It's something that I started on Colin Turner's wiki, Open Access Economy wiki, and that's also it's a wiki. So that is also inviting everybody to go and add content to it. And there's a section that I added, which is a directory, which I think others might like, which includes sharebay.org, and it includes many others as well that are similar to that, that are free collaboration networks where people can find others to share and create together and gift together anywhere in the world.
Was that to
I can't hear you properly.
person
You're not coming through, Cliff.
how
No, still choppy.
okay.
How about now? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, you sound like you're in a helicopter though.
On a helicopter. Shit.
Yeah, it sounds really. I mean, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that Pale Oracle was the next person to speak.
There is no pale oracle.
Axel left.
What's going on? Is anyone talking? I don't hear anything.
Well, I guess it's who wants to speak next.
I have thought that I would like to share was an observation. Like when I first joined the Discord of Zeitgeist Movement and discovered all the Sherbe, I seen it before. Some of the others that were shared, I have not seen it, but there is one general notion I noticed about them, uh, that they are great resource for information, a lot of information. Sharebay is actually really close to uh, what I envisioned, um, but there are some. I have some thoughts and some concepts that are being drafted now that could uh, improve it. Definitely, I think it would improve it, but would make it a more user engaged. And there's also one thing that I would just like to put out there, that I feel a need for sort of a library or an API. For those who are not familiar with the software development terms, is like an it's sort of like a protocol how different applications can talk to each other, and like a shared library of or to solve the problem of sharing resources and sharing needs and contributions, even amongst other applications, and have like a unified language of how interconnected applications can share. Because I might make a website that is suited for somebody that likes it to use it that way, and there's somebody that likes how ShareBay works and would prefer that way. It's all great and good, but at the end, joining the resource pool that is accessible to everybody else in the world, I feel a need for like a general set of libraries. At least that's what I have in my mind, that would allow like the same data structures to be shared among applications. So if a resource becomes available from one website source, it would become available another website source. So it's like a shared common library of resource distribution that would unify the resource pool. So that's something that I have in mind as well, and I'm curious what others think about it.
That is a great idea. That really makes a lot of sense to me, because you may see, I shared a link to the wiki, the openaccesseconomy.org wiki, and there's a really big directory there. I mean, there are thousands of free collaboration networks. There's some are websites, some are apps, and some are in like real life or groups, organizations, or spaces that are designed to share and gift. But having like it's a common code for these apps and these websites to be able to communicate would really make a lot of sense.
Great. I'm glad to hear that, because that's the first phase, like the foundation, part of the foundation of the it's like a library. It's right now it's in TypeScript, which is like, it's basically JavaScript at the end of the pipe, but it's a very web friendly language, as you probably well know it. And it is an like it's based on a separation of concerns concept in software development. It is a library just for that, is to handle the resources, distribute it to the appropriate server that you can have, of course, a collection of servers that distributes to. So I think I felt like that's the one of the core foundational things, and that's definitely what currently I'm working with to refine it. And once that's done, all the UI stuff and all the other things can be placed on top of it, of course.
Cool. Can anyone hear me now?
Much better.
Yeah, what the hell was that about? Sorry, I had to jump out of my helicopter so you can hear me. Yeah, so Perl yeah, he just came back. So do you want to just say a second what you want to say, even though it was short?
Well, I think he said he's working and trying to make lunch, so he'll just catch the next go around.
Okay. Then open then.
Yeah, so I think because we've done an hour now and we've pretty much gone through all the parts of the assembly, which are basically going through the items of the agenda, I'd like to remind everyone that a few days before we hold these assemblies twice a month. One is the second Wednesday at this time at 21 UTC, and the other is on the last Saturday of the month at 9 UTC in the morning. And a few days before the assemblies, we post a link to the notes, to the notepad, so people can write down items in the agenda that they wish to discuss beforehand, and also write their progress reports beforehand. That's always, sometimes that helps too. And so, yeah, it's great that you all came, and we hope to see you come to more. And please invite people to both the server and to the assemblies. It's really important to remind people to come to the assemblies, and yeah, we're succeeding in getting this train of thought out there, and we really are making it happen. So if we just keep raising awareness about it every day, we will succeed. And I think we can conclude that the official part of the meeting is terminated. I will write a call to action that will include the helps that were the call to helps that were asked, and the call to actions that were asked today. I suggest that I recommend that those that want to start a project, that you join the TZM, the new forum, because opening a thread there is probably the best place to work on your project. So it'd be great if you open a thread there, and then when people contact you to participate, you can redirect them there, and we can redirect them there as well. So yeah, just we can. I mean, it's an open floor now, but some of us have other things to do, and so we may leave now and definitely be back in the coming assemblies. And yeah, so thanks a lot, and keep up the good work, and enjoy a shared world.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hoorah.
I would like just to add a quick thing to something that Quinn said earlier when he was talking about he trying to do a presentation and not getting to papers because of paywall. I get the problem with that, and I'm also familiar with it because I tried to write my paper, my own paper once, and it didn't go that well. So, but the thing is, what I wanted to say, maybe it's interesting for a lot of people, because generally scientists are very humble people. So they are not, although they have to do this monetary game that we see, they are also yeah, I just read there's a pirate site, but not that. But if you are very nice and you ask very nicely, you can send an email to the main author of that paper, and usually the scientists are very well, they will give out their work for free if you write them an email. So they are going to give it to you if you explain what you're about to do. They want to do a presentation and stuff like that. Then they are willing to give it for you for free. So it's a thing to just yeah, call write them directly. So I just wanted to leave it with that, and I wanted to say good night to everybody because it's night here, yeah, in Germany also, and have a good yeah, good week.
Yeah, sorry. Speaking about that, yeah, you can write us directly, and we will happily give you the paper, because we don't get get any monetary. Uh, I mean, we don't get anything from the papers. Um, the the journals are the ones that get all the the money and everything, and also we don't they don't pay us for writing this. We also do it for free, and even if you can write us directly, I would recommend using Sci-Hub because that's a way faster way to getting a paper, uh, other than waiting until the scientist reads your email and decides to allocate a bit of time to finding that paper and sending it to you. Because also our inboxes are sometimes a little bit hectic, so we might not reply because of that if it's not from like a colleague or something like that.
Sure. What's that platform that you mentioned?
Sci-Hub, it's posted here on the invoice chat.
Oh, okay, I see it. Thanks. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, you can paste there the DOI, like the link for the paper, or you can also write the name or just paste the URL for the paper, and then usually you will get it. It doesn't have like all the papers in the world, and yeah, for example, some Chinese journals are not indexed in there, so yeah, doesn't work for everything, but it has most of it.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing.
I saw the servers caught on fire. Well, not the servers, but the place it was at.
Yeah, it seems to not have caused any permanent damage, though.
That's good.
I personally am really excited that our train of thought is getting closer and closer to mainstream, and I say that because um, I don't know if you've seen The Social Dilemma, which is a documentary that really has been seen a lot. It was done by tech giants in the social media tech, and it ended saying that the problem is the business. What is it called?
Well, the corporations right now, like I don't know if you heard, Google, Amazon, and most of the big tech giants are going to stop using third-party cookies because they don't need them. The business model. Yeah, I've seen The Social Dilemma, and I found it very eye-opening that most of the big tech people don't let their kids use social media. I found that very interesting.
Yeah, what I really was glad is at the end is that they put the problem where it really is and where we know it is, right? We know that the problem is the business model. It's the fact that there's a profit motive behind everything, and they don't go that precise. They don't like blame the profit motive in general, but they just say the problem is the business model, which is pretty close. Like it's pretty it's pretty much
Well, that's
saying
the problem everywhere, really, when you get right down to it, whether it be, power or, well, energy production, food production, it all comes down to it's the business model that's the problem. It's not any way that it's done. Like we can grow everything organically, like that's not a problem. We don't because it's cheaper to do it a different way. And that's really the core problem is our profit over human concern is the problem. And I don't know. I hope things are on a spiral up. I do agree that the train of thought is out there, especially here in America. A vast majority, I would say about 50% of the population agrees we need to focus on more important things than war and all the problems that we have. But the problem right now is we still have politicians, and yeah, so